Digha Nikāya, Sutta number 20, Mahāsamaya Sutta, a mighty gathering. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was staying among the Sakyans in the great forest at Kapilavatthu, with a large company of some 500 bhikkhus, all arahants. Then Devas from 10 world systems frequently came there to visit the Blessed One and his order of bhikkhus. It occurred to 4 devas residing in the pure abodes. The Blessed Lord is staying at Kapilavatthu with a large company of some 500 bhikkhus, all arahants. What if we were to approach him and each recites a verse? Then those devas, as swiftly as a strong man might stretch his flexed arm, or flex it back again, vanished from the pure abodes and appeared before the Blessed Lord. Then they saluted him and stood to one side, and one by one they recited each of their verses. Thus the first one uttered, "Great the assembly in the forest here. The devas have met, and we are here to see the unconquered brotherhood." Another said, "The bhikkhus with collected minds are straight. They guard their senses as the driver does his reins." Yet another said, "Bars and barriers broken, the threshold stone of lust torn apart. Unstained the spotless seers go, like well-trained elephants." And yet another said, "Who takes refuge in the Buddha, no downward path will go. Having left the body, he'll join the Deva hosts." Then the Blessed Lord said to his bhikkhus, "Bhikkhus, it has often happened that the devas from 10 world systems have come to see the Tathagata and his order of bhikkhus. So it has been with the Supreme Buddhas of the past, and so it will be with those of the future, as it is with me now. I will describe for you the names of the groups of devas, announce them, and teach them to you in detail. Pay close attention to what I shall say." "Yes, Lord," said the bhikkhus, and the Blessed One said this, "I'll tell you them in verse, to which realm each belongs. But those who dwell composed and resolute, like lions in mountain caves, have overcome hair-raising fear and dread, their minds white and pure, unstained and calm. In Kapilavatthu's wood the Lord perceived 500 of his arahants and more, lovers of his word. To them he said, 'Bhikkhus, observe the Deva host approach.' And the bhikkhus strove eagerly to see. With superhuman vision thus arising, some saw 100 gods, 1,000 some, while some saw 70,000, others saw gods innumerable all around. And he who knows with insight was aware of all that they could see and understand. And to the lovers of his word, the Lord, turning, said, 'The Deva hosts approach. Look and seek to know them, bhikkhus, in turn, as I declare their names to you in verse. 7,000 yathās of Kapila's realm, well endowed with power and mighty skills, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. And 6,000 yathās from Himalaya, of varied hue, and well endowed with powers, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. From Sata's mount 3,000 yakas more, of varied hue, and well endowed with powers, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. The sum is 16,000 yakas all, of varied hue, and well endowed with powers, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. Of Vesamita's host 500 more, of varied hue, and well endowed with powers, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. Kumbhira too from Rajagaha comes, whose dwelling place is on Vipulla slopes. 100,000 yakas follow him. King Dattaratha, ruler of the east, the Gandhabba's lord, a mighty king, has come with retinue. Many sons are his, who all bear Indra's name, all well endowed with mighty skills. Fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. King Virulha, ruler of the south, the Kumbhanda's lord, a mighty king, has come with retinue. Many sons are his, who all bear Indra's name, all well endowed with mighty skills, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. Virupakha, ruler of the west, lord of Nagas and a mighty king, has come with retinue. Many sons are his, who all bear Indra's name, all well endowed with mighty skills, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. King Kuvera, ruler of the north, lord of yakas and a mighty king, has come with retinue. Many sons are his, who all bear Indra's name, all well endowed with mighty skills, fair to see, with splendid train have come, rejoicing to this wood to see such bhikkhus. From the east, King Dattaratha shone. From south, Virulhaka, and from the west, Virupakha, Kuvera from the north. Thus ranged in Kapilavatthu's wood, the 4 great kings in all their splendor stood. With them came their vassals, versed in guile, skilled deceivers all, Kutendu first, then Vetendu, Vitu and Vitucca, Candana and Kamasita next, Kinnughandu and Nighandu these, Panada, Opamanya, Matali, who was the Deva's charioteer, Nala, Chittasena of the Gandhabbas, Raja, Janesabha, Panchasikha, Timbaru with Suryavachasa, his daughter. These and more, rejoicing, came to that wood to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. From Nabhasa, Vesali, Tachaka came Nagas, Kambalas, Asarataras, Payagas with their kin. From Yamuna, Dattaratha came with splendid host. Iravana too, the mighty Naga chief, to the forest meeting place has come. And the twice-born, winged and clear of sight, fierce Garuda birds, the Naga's foes, have come as well, flying here, Chitra and Supanna. But here the Naga kings are safe. The Lord has imposed a truce. With gentle speech, they and the Nagas share the Buddha's peace. Asuras too, whom Indra's hand once struck, ocean dwellers now, in magic skilled, Vasava's resplendent brothers came, the Kala Kanjas, terrible to see, Dana Veghasas, Vepachitti, Suchitti, and Paharadha too, Fel Namuchi and Bali's 100 sons, who all were called Verocha, with a band of warriors who joined their master Rahu, who had come to wish their meeting well. Gods of water, earth and fire and wind, the Varunas and their retainers, Soma and Yasa too, Devas born of love and compassion with a splendid train. These 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. Venhu too with his sahalis came, the Asamas, the Yama twins, and those devas who attend on moon and sun, constellation gods, sprites of clouds, Sakka, the Vassus Lord, ancient giver, these 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. The Sahabus, radiant, bright, came next, fiery crusted. The Arittakas, the Rojas, cornflower blue, with Varuna and Sahadhamma, Achyuta, Anejaka, Suleya, Ruchira, the Vasavanesis, these 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to the Buddha's bhikkhus. The Samanas and Mahāsamanas both, beings manlike and more than manlike, came, the pleasure-corrupted and mind-corrupted gods, green devas and the red ones too, Paragas, Mahaparagas with train, these 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. Sukkas, Karumhas, Arunas, Veghanasas follow in the Odagaya's wake. Vichakhanas, Sadamattas, Haragajas, those gods called mixed in splendor, and Pajunna, the thunderer, who also causes rain. These 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. The Kemiyas, the Tusitas, and Yamas, the Kattakas with train, Lambitakas, the Lama chiefs, and the gods of flame, the Asavas, those who delight in shapes they've made, and those who seize on others' work, these 10 with tenfold varied hosts, endowed with mighty powers and fair to see, rejoicing came to see the Buddha's bhikkhus. These 60 deva hosts of varied kinds all came arranged in order of their groups, and others too in due array. They said, "He whose transcended birth, he for whom no obstacle remains, who's crossed the flood, him, taintless, will see, the mighty one, traversing free without transgression, as it were the moon that passes through the clouds." Subrahma next, and with him Paramatta, Sanankumara, Tissa, who were sons of the Mighty One, these also came. Mahabrahma, who ruled 1,000 worlds, in the Brahma world supreme, arisen there, shining bright and terrible to see, with all his train. 10 lords of his, who each rule a Brahma world, and in their midst Harita, who ruled 100,000. And when all these had come in vast array, with Indra and the hosts of Brahma too. Then too came Mara's hosts, and now observe that black one's folly. For he said, "Come on, seize and bind them all, with lust we'll catch them all, surround them all about, let none escape, whoever he may be." Thus the warlord urged his murky troops, with his palm he struck the ground, and made a horrid din, as when a storm cloud bursts with thunder, lightning, and with heavy rain, and then shrank back, enraged but powerless. And he who knows by insight saw all this and grasped its meaning. To his bhikkhus he said, "The hosts of Mara come, bhikkhus, pay good heed." They heard the Buddha's words and stayed alert. And Mara's hosts drew back from those on whom neither lust nor fear could gain a hold. Victorious, transcending fear, they've won. His followers rejoice with all the world. Sadhu, sadhu.